Go.
Greetings from the United States of America, more specifically Yosemite National Park, Tunnel View. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about what surprises me about American English.
Surprising things about American English.
Hi, I'm Dave Huxtable and I'm a linguist, polyglot and language coach. I've been familiar with American English since I was a kid, really, growing up on a diet of Batman and Robin, Lost in Space, Land of the Giants, Starsky and Hutch, Cagney and Lacey, Lassie, Flipper, etc. And then when I got to the United States, I've been living here for the last 5 years, I discovered that the animals are not as intelligent as I'd been led to believe, and neither are some of the people. This video is all about the things that have surprised me about American English. So the things I didn't know about before, the things that have made me say, gosh, I didn't know they said that.
It was no surprise whatsoever, of course, that American English has lots of R sounds of the nature. Now, in most of England and in much of the English-speaking world, we have tamed our R's so that they only come before vowels.
And as the R-tamer approaches the letter, he's actually putting his head in its mouth.
Now, I knew that in American English, they were also allowed to come after. What surprised me was the extent to which they've been allowed to totally run higher. The level of R-iness seems to vary from person to person, and I imagine also from region to region. But the influence of the R seems to spread backwards and forwards throughout the discourse, with the tongue held in the R position, influencing whole syllables. One effect of this is the merger of sounds that come before the R. Most North Americans make a distinction between a, and a in words like mat, met, and mate. Put an R into the mix, though, and 40% of people merge the vowels together into something akin to R. So you get merry, Mary, and marry all coming out as Mary, as in Mary, Mary, married, Harry, Harry. A similar thing happens when I as in pit and E as in Pete merge in such a way that mirror and nearer rhyme mirror, nearer. There aren't very many minimal pairs affected by this, apart from Sirius the dog star and the word serious. Words like mirror are also interesting, in that often the R gobbles up the syllable that comes afterwards, so that mirror and mere both end up being pronounced mere. I'm here at Bunnyhenge in Orange County, and it's called Bunnyhenge and not Rabbithenge because of an interesting phenomenon whereby adults call rabbits bunnies, dogs puppies, even if they're adult dogs, and cats kitties. Now, I know Americans tend not to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars or pounds teaching their kids Latin and ancient Greek like upper-class Brits do, often with disastrous consequences, but I'm still quite surprised to hear things like one vertice, several vertices, when, as everyone at Eton knows, the singular of vertices is vertex. In the same vein, I frequently come across parenthesis as the singular of parentheses, instead of the expected parenthesis. Where am I coming across these words, you may ask? YouTube videos about software, that's where. More frequently seen in daily life, though, is the plural of process, or indeed process, as processes, as if it too were classical Greek. It isn't. It's from Latin processus, the plural of which is processus. So there you go.
Something I've come across more than a couple times is the use of the expression a couple with no of after it. English seems to divide group nouns quite arbitrarily into ones that require of and ones that don't. A bunch of flowers, but a dozen roses, but dozens of roses. A fistful of dollars, a murder of crows, an ostentation of peacocks, a million people, thousands of students. For me, a couple is definitely in the of camp, and a couple dollars sounds weird.
Now, given the massive influence of R as discussed a bit ago, imagine my surprise when I discovered how many people pronounce the word forward. Now, I think I had every right to expect this to come out as forward, even though I struggled to get my mouth around that. But lots of people actually say forward. This also comes up in the corporate buzzword expression, going forward, as if that's an odd direction for time to travel in.
This is an odd one. People talk of swim teams, swim classes, swim trunks, swim goggles, etc. as if swim were a noun, but it isn't. Now, I'm not being prescriptive in saying that. In fact, none of the things I've said so far are things that I think are wrong or bad or stupid or anything like that. Language is constantly changing, and I'm fascinated and highly respectful towards, or indeed towards, all of its magnificent diversity. So I would be perfectly happy if people made swim into a noun. What I find odd is that, other than these few examples, people still don't seem to be using it as a noun. If I ask someone to list their hobbies, as far as I know, it isn't possible to say dance, theatre, music, languages, and swim. I think people would still say swimming, just as they would say reading, acting, running, singing, climbing, etc. Using the ing form because the verb in question isn't also a noun. Dance, for example, is both a noun and a verb. You can talk of the history of dance and have dance classes in a dance studio. But you can't go to act classes, join a sing club, or scale a climb wall. Just like there's no such thing as a swim pool. Yet.
I hope you found this fun. If so, check out these other videos, which are also in the vein of a bit of humour on the topic of language and dialects and pronunciation and things like that. If you did enjoy it, give it a like, even subscribe to the channel, and I really look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you so much, and goodbye.